What's up, everyone? This is CyberKnight, and today I finally have my fossil deck profile for you guys. Of course, it's using the brand new fossil cards that came out in Battles of Legend Armageddon. It's so cool that we finally actually have these cards printed in the game. I mean, I've wanted them ever since I could play using them in Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 2 for the PSP. So it's been quite a wait for these. So, yeah, just finally having them is amazing. I've been hyped up for this ever since, they were announced. And, yeah, I tried to go for more of a budget-friendly deck profile as possible because fossils are a lot of fun to use, and they're actually really powerful. So I thought I would go with more of a, like I said, Rock Stun sort of variant because I feel like a lot of people are going with the Emancipator build, and I wanted to go with something a little bit cheaper that would be a little bit more budget-friendly, and you could still enjoy using the fossil monsters. So, let's get to it. Alright, so starting off, I am going with 3 of Weathering Soldier. Weathering Soldier is one of your main monsters. Basically, he's a way to search for Fossil Fusion. I mean, he's one you're going to send to the graveyard, search for Fossil Fusion. That's what he does. He's relatively powerful, but that's pretty much his job in this deck. Then, of course, 3 of Mathematician. Mathematician being, able to send a card from your deck to the graveyard is just great. I mean, that's another way you can send Weathering Soldier, obviously, to then get Fossil Fusion to your hand. Yeah, Mathematician is basically the one that helps us get our combo going and getting our Fossil Fusion even easier. Of course, then, too, I'm also running 3 of Nibiru. Nibiru, of course, this being a rock deck, is great. I mean, he doesn't have to be a side deck card in this one, We all know what Nibiru can do to your opponent, especially their field of all their great monsters they summon, just boom, giant meteor just hits you, right? Being able to then also search for this card and everything too, and it works with this deck so easily. Yeah, it's not a side deck card, actually, for this. It's one you're going to want to run in the main deck, and your opponent will probably hate you for it, too. And, of course, like I said, I went for more Rock Stun, so that means Kwakimeru. So I'm using 3 of Kwakimeru Guardian. See if I can lay them down. There we go. And then 3 of Kwakimeru Overload as well. And then also 1 of Kwakimeru Wall. Those are the ratios I went with. I was trying to fix that a little bit. But basically, with these ratios, I feel like they're pretty good. Basically, with Kwakimerus, they're relatively strong. And, of course, with this deck, with so many rock monster stuff, too, you can keep them on the field easily. So, I kind of preferred that engine. And since everything's been, reprinted as super rares and stuff, too, it's not something that will totally destroy your wallet like Emancipators would. So, that's what I was saying. I wanted to do more of a friendly build on that because everyone's using Emancipators with them, and I wanted to do something kind of different as well. So, I like the Kwakimerus for that. Then, of course, too, I'm also using 2 of Gamseel. It's good to have a Kaiju monster, just plain and simple. Getting rid of one of your opponent's strong monsters is good. Also, because you would give them a Kaiju and that would tribute their monster, that will go to the graveyard, their monster will, which then that can help you with Fossil Fusion. You could take their monster as part of the fusion, and there. I mean, that can help you get set up, too, for one of your fusions, as well as giving them a giant turtle that's not going to probably be as strong as what they had originally. Then for hand traps, I'm also using 2 of Ghost Ogre. Just a good hand trap to have because, I mean, yeah, with this deck, there are plenty of things that can be a pain. So you want to be able to keep your opponent from doing a lot. And the same with 2 of Ash Blossom. Same idea. I mean, hand traps are always useful, and especially in a deck like this, where you want to keep your opponent from doing just too much crazy stuff, you're going to need them, plain and simple. Then, of course, moving on to spell cards, you gotta have 3 of Fossil Fusion. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? This is your key card for the deck. It is probably one of the best polymerization type cards, fusion cards out there. Being able to, like I said, fuse with your opponent's monsters in their graveyard and then monsters in your graveyard to bring out a strong fusion monster. Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculously easy to bring out fusion monsters with this card. And it can mess up your opponent's strategy as well and all of that. And there's so many ways to search for this card. You for sure want to get it as quickly as possible, and then you're just making your opponent pay after you do that. Of course, too, I'm also running 3 of Miracle Rupture. This is pretty much a themed Foolish Burial, I would say. That's probably one of the better ways to put it. Being able to send a monster, of course, from your deck to the graveyard. Weathering Soldier is still one of your main ones for that. And then also, too, if Fossil Fusion is in the graveyard, this also can be a card that can help you draw more cards. So, either way, it's helping you get things where you need and setting up for your combo. So it is kind of a Foolish Burial with a little bit of a draw engine as well. So it'll definitely come in handy for you. And then, of course, 3 of Time Stream. Time Stream is one of those cards that's amazing for this deck as well. The best way I can kind of summarize what it does is kind of think of the card Level Up for level monsters, right? Because it makes it so that one of your fossil monsters can become a stronger fossil monster. You go 2 levels up from the previous one that you had. So it's almost like it's evolving to another fossil monster that will be much stronger, because some of the lower ones are pretty easy to bring out. They just need a level 4 and then a rock monster. That's easy to do in most cases against most decks. And also, too, it does have a reviving effect to help you bring back some of your fossil monsters as well. But it's the one that makes it so much easier to bring out the stronger fusions. And then, of course, last but not least on our fossil cards, we have 2 of Specimen Inspection. This card's made to, it's almost like a reasoning sort of card. It's made so that you're able to declare a level and type of monster, and your opponent has to pretty much get rid of one of those. But yeah, basically just helps you set up for your bigger fusions if you want to, make sure your opponent has a certain level in their graveyard. So it comes in handy for that. Then after that, have 2 of Extra Foolish Burial. Basically with this, it will help you send the fusions from the extra deck to the graveyard, which, like I said, they have their own effects that can happen whenever they're sent to the graveyard. That can be destroy a card on the field. That could be search for fossil fusion, that kind of stuff. It does cost half your life points, which is, kind of meh on some things. You just make sure that after you use something like this, if you lost a lot of life points from it, you try to end the game right there, okay? So, it's great, though, for that. Of course, 3 Called by the Grave, because hand traps. 1 Foolish Burial, because again, we have our themed ones, but a regular one is always great to have as well. And then Monster Reborn, because we are sending a lot of stuff to the graveyard, even to our opponent's graveyard. Why not take one of those back and just use it against them? Alright, now for the extra deck. First off, I am running, of course, 2 of Fossil Warrior Skullbone, as well as 2 of Fossil Dragon Skullgar. These 2 are your level 4 fusions. Easy to bring out. Like I said, they're some of the easier ones to bring out. And also, too, they have searching abilities for them, too. Because whenever they're sent to the graveyard, you have it where Skullbone, this is the one that will help you search for a fossil fusion. And then Skullgar will help you go for Time Stream. So they also have the searching abilities for you. And like I said, they're relatively easy to bring out and all that, too, because they are the lower level fusions. So they're the ones you're going to bring out and then maybe use Time Stream to level up into the next one. Then you can also get the searching effect from that and keep going, basically. So they're kind of the stepping stones to bring out the bigger fusions. Then also 2 of Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. I did not know this one was actually short printed. I only got 1 from all the unboxings I've done. So that's why this one, we're just going to pretend it's also 1, okay? I wasn't going to make you guys wait until I got another one. No, we're just going to get to the deck profile, so just pretend, okay? Anyway, this is the next level, basically, Skull Knight. So this is the one, too, that when it's in the graveyard, it can help you get a destruction effect as well. But this is another one of those stepping stones where it's another one that's easier to bring out. You're going to Time Stream into it, and there you go. And then for the last of our fusions, I am using 2 of Fossil Warrior Skull King. And then, of course, 1 of Skullgios. Both of these are basically your boss monsters. It can kind of be debated which one's really the boss monster. I mean, with Skullgios, he's a little bit, I don't find myself going for him as often, but he's the one that can do, double damage. He has the piercing effect, and he also has the effect, too, that's a sword and shield, where basically you can switch your opponent's attack and defense around. So, he can do some serious damage, of course, to your opponent. But then also there's Skull King, which in a lot of ways I consider him, like I said, the boss monster, because he can do a second attack. He also does piercing damage, and then 2, he can get one of your opponent's monsters and bring it to your side of the field. From their graveyard, you just revive it, and it's oh, this is mine now. So, both are great to have, depends on your situation, but they can both go for a game really easily. So those are kind of the final form, if you want to say, for the deck, and they do some serious damage. I'm also running 1 of Gallant Granite. This is just a good Extreme monster to have. Extreme monsters are a little bit better now because, of course, the Master Rule changed, so you're not having to worry about links and all that different stuff. And, yeah, it's a searcher. It can help you even search for Nibiru. So, I thought it was a good card to tech in for that reason. And then, of course, too, after that, we have our Link monsters. Cross Sheep, I mean, this is good for any deck that can go for fusions, so its effect for that is very great, so I like to run it for that. Then kind of your generic Link monsters, I guess, really, because Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, then, of course, Nightmare Unicorn. So those are just kind of go-tos if you need some extra monsters for your extra deck there. And then, of course, Boral Sword Dragon. It's just a powerful Link monster, easy to go for if you need it. And, yeah, like I said, just basically generic Link monsters I can go for if I need them. And yep, there you go. That is my fossil deck profile. So, of course, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Again, I wanted to take more of a budget, relaxed build with this, where it's a lot of fun, but it's not going to completely empty your bank account. You could also use the Predaplant link as well, if you're interested in that. I decided not to go with it with this build, but especially if you want to use that and then even wanted to tech in something like Super Polymerization, or at least have that in your side deck, I could see that really coming in handy too. But for me, I feel like there were so many ways to get Fossil Fusion anyway, it really wasn't a problem. But again, if you have multiple fusion cards like Super Poly, I could see that being, really useful too. So let me know if that, if that's something you guys have tried out and what builds have worked for you. But again, I really didn't want to go the Emancipator build. I've seen it so many times. I wanted to go with something different. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you want to see more deck profiles in the future. Be sure to support them as well. If there's any other videos you'd like to see, whether it's an opening or something else you would like me to do, let me know. And of course I will. Catch you guys later. See ya.